Hello my friends, I'm Lucas and you're watching coldemonspl. If you like my work, please remember to click thumb up, subscribe to my channel and write some comments.
This is the goal we want to achieve. I'm not talking about painting camo because that's not the topic of today's episode or about weathering. Today I want to show you how to make additional modern masking that can be seen in the photos from the field exercises. As a base I will use the Leopard 2A7V from Tamiya, which I built for the German model fan. The basic material I will use is a paper tissue. It's best if it doesn't have any embossments or patterns, and if there are any, just cut them off. For painting I will use 4 colors: grey-green, slate, Russian uniform and German field grey. Additionally, liquid glue and water. The mixture is made using the ingredients mentioned couple seconds ago. Of course, I use the colors individually. After mixing, I start painting the prepared piece of paper. One more note about the glue. The most important thing is that it should be added as a fluid. If you have regular PVA, dilute it well before adding it to the paint. It will be easier for you to work. To speed things up, it's worth using an accelerator. I must admit that I took advantage of this time and prepared several colorful sheets that I could use in my future projects without having to do all the painting. The key to success is proper preparation of base sheets. We do this by cutting out appropriate shapes that match the shape of the model. Of course, you must first determine the places where you want to place the mask. This will definitely make your work easier. It's best to use reference photos. Characteristic stripes are quite common on vehicles used by the Bundeswehr and not only there. Just cut the prepared sheets, but pay attention to the width of the stripes. If you are not following a specific photo, remember that they look best if they are no larger than 5 mm. Before you start putting the tarp on the model, gently soak it with water, which will soften the paper, but don't worry, you won't tear it so easily because the paint and glue with which the tarp is soaked protect it against damage. Of course, this is not a material for building space rockets, so do it carefully. To arrange individual tarps on the model, elements should be used that make their installation easier, but could also be used by the crew for this purpose in reality. It's worth remembering that in some places strings, wires or other materials would probably be used to facilitate the installation, but they will not necessarily be visible later. The same assumption can be used in the model, sometimes making your work easier and simply gluing the tarp to the model. Later it can be covered with subsequent layers of masking. I hope you know what I mean. As before, it's worth using a little water to shape the tarpaulin well, and here and there you can use a little glue to arrange the tarp better. With a little practice you can put together one piece in just a few minutes. It's not difficult, and what is very important, you can do it many times because water softens the material after each drying. It's worth remembering that individual elements should look realistic. Twisted, uneven, kneaded, everything that will make them look good, and you will have no doubt that they can look better. After drying, the material adheres to the model well enough. The water activated the glue from the coloring mixture, and this was enough to harden and glue the tarp to the surface of the model. I need these long stripes to mask the barrel. Of course I use the same methods as before and you don't have to wait long for the effect. By the way, please note that it's worth having a well-mounted model, which makes the work much easier. I use an octopus jig. Okay, now we can start the second part of masking, which is laying the masking mesh. At the moment I don't know if anyone other than AK Interactive offers good looking and manufactured camouflage nets in scale. They offer different types and colors. It may not be cheap, but it will be enough for several models. Alright, the masking mesh must be stretched and torn into smaller pieces because this will make its installation and shaping much easier. PVA glue will be useful here, but not diluted as before, but thick. You can also do it using CA glue, but I recommend caution. The advantage of PVA is that after drying it's not as visible as CA glue. In addition, it gives you more time to proper arrangement and possible corrections. Laying out the grid is quite time consuming. This is due to the fact that all shapes must be molded separately. I guarantee that the best effect will be achieved if we gave this work a little love. When arranging masking, it's very important to remember about optoelectronics, which cannot be covered and cannot have limited functionality. Here you can clearly see that it can also be done in less sophisticated way. Using a mesh structure, we can gently spread the diluted glue. After it dries, it won't be visible. Even if there is a bit of dried and shiny glue anywhere, a thin layer of matte varnish will eliminate the problem. Having couple seconds, I would like to send massive thanks to my patrons. The people who helped me the most are Bulldog09, Christopher Obarski, Dan Dubois, Dan Mikeshak, Hans Zapp, Karsten Inkedi and Steve Ankin. But the people listed just now are also my great patrons. Please don't forget that you can be one of them. And I realize it's not easy these days, but if you have a few bucks you could drop in my cup, that would be great. Thanks! It's obvious that tarps and also mesh require a bit of washing. It's best to apply it in small amounts, well diluted. It's worth emphasizing the folds of the tarp with some lighting. I painted each fold separately using the paint used to soak the paper with a bit of lighter color. It takes some time, but it's worth doing because it will enhance the 3D effect. If the vehicle is muddy, parts of the masking that may have become dirty while riding should also be treated appropriately. Unification with the vehicle is absolutely required here. Finally, in some places I soaked the tarps and nets with thinner and sprinkled them with a small amount of pigment. This gave the effect of scattered earth, which always appears on vehicles when driving off-road. Depending on the color of the pigment, you can build dry or wet soil here. It just depends on the author's needs. For the end, a little dusting with a soft brush and a bit of pigment and the masking is ready. Now I'm waiting for your opinions about my method. Does it look good? I think it's pretty good, but I'm more interested in what you have to say about it. Maybe you have some ideas of your own. In the near future I will start making other modern vehicles and they will not be as heavy machines as Leopard, but they will be equally interesting and worth attention. I think I should mention that my patrons will be the first informed and entertained, and they will be fully reported about progress. For now, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more, click like for this video and write some comments of course. That's all for today, see you next time, cheers!